Hey everybody, this is Pheelan, and I just wanted to get into, discuss further something that I was discussing last night about the sort of the way that full preterism sucks you in and kind of takes over your mind, as it were. There's a lot of people who, and I just want to start by saying that, reactionary ideologies in general are something that you want to avoid. I've had a lot of discussions with atheists, agnostics, skeptics over the years who all have there's a common pattern running throughout their ideas, their ideologies rather. And that common pattern is that they all had a very bad experience with Christianity. Most of them at any rate did. And that their current mindset is really just a reaction, more or less, against their previous mindset. So you want to identify reactionism when you see it. A lot of preterists will tell you that, I was wrong for, 17 years, and I was, reading books by Hal Lindsey, and, read all these prophecy books, and, then I came across a book by Gary DeMar or Ken Gentry, and it just made everything clear. But this is the thing, they have not just, by the time they've accepted full preterism, they haven't just, renounced, switched over to another belief system. They've also become sort of poisoned in their minds in a reactionary sense against mainstream evangelical Christianity. So it has to really be. It's a very slippery sort of walk that they're taking, because you can fall over on one side or on the other. If you accept full preterism, then boom, you're automatically in a heresy, and that's not a good thing. So you get sucked in, very, very difficult to get out of. And what I've seen over the years is I've seen preterism, full preterism, take over people's lives to the extent that is their meat, their drink. It's the air they breathe, the very element in which they live. Now, if I was dedicating my life to evangelizing the lost, that would be a commendable thing, right? But if you're dedicating your life to spreading something that you know deep down is false, now that's not a good thing. That's going to have long-reaching repercussions on your life. It could, erode your friendships. It could erode your marriage. I've seen full preterist doctrine, destroy marriages before. It didn't happen very often, but it has happened. Years ago, there was I want to say back around 2008, 2009, there was a guy named Mike Loomis. You can look him up. He was affiliated with Todd Dennis's crowd out in California. And Todd Dennis is another story. That Todd was basically, he was for many, many years the main promoter of full preterism on the internet. And before he renounced it, around, I want to say 2006, he renounced the view. But his website, Preterist Archive, was actually the main vehicle for promoting full preterist doctrine on the internet. And he had a small band of followers that were basically his buddies from California. Mike Loomis was one of those guys, and he sort of made a pretense of leaving full preterism, or at least questioning full preterism at one time. I dealt with him on the CARM forum for a couple of years on and off, and he was basically, questioning full preterism at one point. But then I guess he said, well, the time texts were too much for him, so he kind of sloughed back into the system. But what he did was, he eventually got so ticked off about all of the opposition toward full preterism that was going on, that he actually started a full-time ministry. It was a 24-hour a day, 7 days a week, streaming station called Preterist Radio. He did that for, I want to say, 3 or 4 years at least. And then, I don't know the exact details, and if I'm misrepresenting the facts or saying something that's not quite correct, please feel free to fact check me. But at one point, he got diagnosed with, I want to say it was brain cancer. It was some form of really bad cancer. And he shut down everything, man. He took everything offline. He shut down his websites. He stopped promoting full preterism. Now, thankfully, he got cured. And thankfully, he was able to, ride that out and recover. But the thing is, he was dancing with death, really. Because, and I don't want to say necessarily that the reason why he got cancer is because he was promoting full preterism. I don't want to say that. That's not a judgment that I can make. It's not a conclusion that I feel able to make. But I do want to say this, that he was spending all his energy on something that was very unhealthy, that was mentally unhealthy, that was emotionally unhealthy, and that can have effects on your health. So, he's just one of many, many examples that I could adduce to show that there is a certain point at which full preterism can take over your life, and it could start making you, it can become really a way of life. It becomes your meat, your drink, it becomes the air you breathe, and it governs everything that you do. Your whole life revolves around full preterism. The teachers who have been in this system for years and years and years, you never ever expect them to leave full preterism, because by the point they've been doing this for, I don't know, like Don Preston's been doing this for probably over 20 years, he's not going to leave full preterism. He's heard every argument in the book. He's had a lot of opportunity to respond, to articulate his arguments, to present his defense against, Orthodox evangelical Christianity. People like that are not going to leave. But people like that, I would wager he probably knows deep down that full preterism is wrong, but he's too committed. It's his legacy that would go to smash if he actually left or renounced full preterism. So I want to make sure that, that you're not getting to the point where you start teaching the system, because once you become a teacher, chances of you leaving the system really, really slim. I think Sam Frost is one of the main, I guess probably one of the most miraculous examples of someone who turned completely around, was a full preterist teacher for many, many years, and he actually renounced preterism, I think in 2011. He renounced full preterism, and now he's Orthodox. So when I say Orthodox, I don't mean necessarily Catholic or Greek Orthodox. I mean Orthodox in the sense of historic confessional Christianity. I think he's a post-mill, but don't quote me on that, I think. But he's one of the very few, just a very bare handful of examples that I could, use to illustrate preterist teachers leaving the system. There's not very many of those, but there are some people who have left the system that weren't teaching it, but they got sucked in, and that's what what I brought out during my last podcast is, you get sucked in. The closer you get to the vortex, the more in danger you are. So there's people that are flirting with the system right now. There's people that are saying, Don, you're making some really great points. And, one guy on Don Preston's channel, I think his name, I don't remember his actual name, but he made a couple of posts just within the last few weeks saying something to the effect of, Don, I'm a partial preterist now, but I'm really, really thinking about, I really think, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and I'm really on the very edge of adopting the full preterist system. So that's a guy that's getting close to the whirlpool, right? That's a guy that's getting close to the vortex. So, are you going to sell your soul for eschatology? That's my question. Are you going to sell your soul, or is your soul already sold for eschatology? Is full preterism really taken over your life? Has it become more than just a belief system? Has it become a way of life? Has it become the very air you breathe? Is it something that is determining all of your actions or at least a large part of your actions? Is it something that has modified your behavior in an unhealthy way? These are the things you need to think about, and I want you to think hard about them, because it's very important that you recognize full preterism for what it is, and based on its attributes and based on its effects upon believers. So with that said, just wanted to weigh in with another podcast. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow or the day after with another one. Until then, thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a great day.